Love is infinite. It has a lot of different facets. It's not just romantic. And so you can use Valentine's Day to just celebrate the concept of love itself. Valentine's Day is all about love, but that doesn't just mean romantic love. I want to talk to you about celebrating all the loves in your life. And I also want to touch on why self-love even matters. Building a strong relationship with yourself is the foundation for confidence, happiness, and a healthier relationship with others. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is some mindset shifts on how to embrace your self-love, practical ways to build a stronger relationship with yourself, and how to celebrate Valentine's Day if you're solo, and how to romanticize your own life and make every day feel special for you. Now, before I dive into all of these practical tips and Valentine's Day as a single person, I want to touch on self-love for a little bit because there was a point in my life where I did not love myself. And it brings to mind a conversation that I was having with a dear friend of mine where she is one of those people that just radiates goodness. She is absolutely stunning, gorgeous. You know, she might not be a size 2 and she struggled with her weight all her life, but she is just one of those beautiful people that is outwardly stunning. I mean, she's gorgeous, but she also is just the purest heart. And speaking of loves of your life, this is one of the loves of my life. This is Zolsa. She might pop in here and there. You might hear her or see her in the background from time to time. But this conversation I was having with my dear friend, and she mentioned, struggling with self-love and how I told her, I like myself on occasion, but I don't love myself. And she was like, how could you not love yourself? You're so beautiful. And I was just like, I could ask you the exact same question, but self-love is more than just beauty and, feeling good about the way that you look. It goes so much deeper than that. And it took me a really long time to build that relationship with myself because my concept of love was achievement-based. And I think that that's where we get a lot of reinforcement and positive conditioning, is that we have to earn our love. And I very much grew up in a household where you earned your love based on your achievements, based on things that you did, based on productivity. I had to reprogram myself and really believe that I deserved love from not only others, but from myself simply because I exist. I want to talk about shifting some limiting beliefs that we might have and how to reframe the way that we see self-love. So Zolsa is going to help us with this, but I wanted to touch on the way that Matthew Hussey frames self-love in his new book, Love Life. And if you have not seen this book, I really recommend that you check it out. He talks about reframing self-love in a way that is easier for us to understand. So, you just saw my dog, and I think she's the best dog in the whole world, but everybody thinks that their dog is the best dog in the whole world. Why do I think that she's the best dog in the whole world? Because she's mine. And he makes that exact point in this book of, I have to love myself because I'm mine. I am my person. You are your person. You are the only you that you are ever going to get. And so you have to love yourself so hard because you're the only you that you get, right? So he says, because I'm my person. I'm the person who belongs to me. And we have to make the decision to love ourselves like it's our job, because it is. And he also goes on to make the point that so many of us search for outward love, and we search for someone to take on that job of loving us when it's our job. So the mindset shifts that I want to touch on are very common. We hear these, we say these to ourselves as women often. I'll be happy when I meet my guy. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when. And we need to shift that to, I deserve to be happy now. And in Matthew's book, he talks about the concept of being happy enough, not settling, but just being happy enough and knowing what our enough looks like. But I deserve to be happy now. Another one is being single means I'm not wanted. Nobody wants me. Nobody loves me. I'll be single forever. I'll die alone, right? But we have to shift that into being single during this season, however long it might be, means I have the freedom and the time to focus on me. And I actually did a whole video about being single and free and how to embrace your singlehood, because as a woman in my mid-30s, I feel a lot of pressure, or I know many of us do feel a lot of pressure of finding that partner, coupling up, doing the thing, right, that everybody's doing, getting married. And if you're feeling any kind of pressure around that of like, well, when are you gonna get married? You're gonna die alone. You're never gonna like meet somebody. Embrace this time, because this is such a magical time for you to not only explore self-discovery, but to have that freedom and time to love yourself, to figure out what that means, to focus on all the goals and things that you want to do in your life that don't revolve around somebody else or taking somebody else into consideration. You'll never really appreciate it until you don't have it anymore. When you're in a relationship, when you have the responsibilities of taking other people into consideration, you will absolutely appreciate it. Another misconception or mindset shift that needs to happen is that self-care is selfish. And it is not. It is absolutely essential. It is essential to your well-being to take care of yourself. Now, I'm not talking about all the hyped up self-care, that's expensive and exorbitant. It's really just what you need to do to be okay with yourself each day. And I did a whole video on simple and free self-care that kind of talks about the realistic ways that you can care for yourself based on your personal needs. So I'll leave that link somewhere. But really, self-care is essential to just maintenance, maintaining your life, maintaining an even grounded energy so that you can get through each day balanced and contributing to your own wellness and your own success. Another mindset shift that needs to happen when we're embracing self-love is, I need someone else to make me feel loved. And I know that this is something that a lot of us women struggle with, a lot of people struggle with, and it comes from our very primal need for connection. And I absolutely believe that we were put on this planet to connect with each other in a meaningful way. That being said, we don't need another person to make us feel loved. It's great to have that sense of love enhanced by another person, right? We don't exist in a vacuum, but you can be your own source of love. So you don't need someone else to feel loved. You can do all of those loving things for yourself. You can be your own source of love. And finally, the last one is, and I think it's very common in our busy world, especially the society that glorifies busyness, is I don't have time for myself. And the thing is, you are worthy of giving time to yourself. I know that it's so easy to get lost in the shuffle of life, caring for others, putting others first, but you absolutely deserve to give yourself your own time. And in fact, you need to give yourself your own time in order to show up for others the way that you really want to. And you deserve to show up for you, simply just for you. You are a human being in need of proper care, proper love, and genuine connection with yourself. So I kind of am curious, drop a comment below. Let me know which one of those mindset shifts resonates with you. What are you going to be working on? I want to talk to you about some practical ways that you can strengthen your relationship with yourself. And I'm going to dive back into Matthew's book really quick because he really touches on this and makes a great point. In Matthew's book, he makes the point that loving yourself isn't the goal, it's the action. And loving ourselves is taking care of, investing in, encouraging, nurturing, and standing up for ourselves. Self-love is a verb. And that is just so perfect because Anybody can say, oh, you just need to love yourself. Okay, but what does that mean? That means making sure that you've had enough to eat today, making sure that you got plenty of rest, making sure that if you're not feeling good, that you take care of yourself, making sure that you don't overload your calendar with too many commitments and burn yourself out or get, too much social time. Like, it's the action of taking care of you, right? Think of a pet or think of a child, right? You would make sure that they were fed, they were pottied, they were, well, they had medicine if they were sick, they took a nap if they were getting cranky. Like, you would make sure that they were taken care of, right? You would give them encouraging words if they were upset. You would be an open ear for them if they needed support, right? All of those things that we do to show others that we love them, those are things that we can give to ourselves. And yeah, it might look a little different and we might need a little bit more practice, but those are all things that we can do to love ourselves and build a better relationship with ourselves. Self-love is an action. So what does that look like in practical terms, right? So you can spend intentional time alone, right? And I think a lot of times when we're busy, time alone is like, oh my God, I finally got 5 minutes to myself. I'm just going to scroll on my phone, or I'm going to zone out, or I'm going to watch TV, or I'm going to take a nap, which all of those are fine in moderation. But I urge you to consider making that time with yourself more deliberate. What can I do that's enjoyable for me, that's replenishing for me? So you can take yourself on solo dates. I talk a lot about this on my channel. I've done several videos. I'll link them here. Go to an art class, go to a museum, go do something that you enjoy that's spending deliberate time with yourself. Travel alone. I have a caveat with this because I have enjoyed traveling by myself, but I used to try to convince myself that I really liked traveling alone. And when I went, I just ended up feeling more alone. So test it out. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. There's no pressure. I know that, it can be easy to glorify this solo travel thing, and it's not for everybody. Sometimes I enjoy it, but sometimes I don't. So just test that out for yourself. Have a solo retreat at home. Now, this is dear to my heart because once a month, usually when I'm on my cycle, because it hits your girl hard, I do what I call a silent day or a solo self-care day. I shut off my phone. I don't have any music or TV or any outside stimulus on. I just relax. I color, I paint, I go for a walk, I do yoga, I take a nap, I meditate. I just take time to myself, and I call it like my little solo retreat. And then sometimes I'll do what I call a think day. And a think day is where I read all the articles that I've been thinking about reading. I catch up on books that I've been wanting to read. I catch up on YouTube, videos that I've been trying to watch. All of like the learning things or curiosities that I've been wanting to explore, I kind of do it all in one day, and I call that my think day. And I do like a deep journal dive that day and ask myself questions that I've been kind of just pondering. Just really like deep dive think day that's not related to any work or goals or anything that I'm like trying to be productive. It's just curiosities for me. Another thing that I want to touch on that's really pivotal to building a better relationship with yourself is to practice better self-talk, to speak more kindly to yourself. Now, I used to have a really bad habit of yelling at myself and using my middle name, okay? My middle name is Deneen. Well, one of them is Deneen. And for some reason, when I would get frustrated or do something stupid, I'd say, "Come on, Deneen." And that was really harsh. Like, I mean, I'm not being like, "Oh, you're a dumb bitch," or whatever, but like, to me, I was like reprimanding myself, or I'd be like, "Oh, that's so stupid." And so one thing that I replaced was, instead of being like, "Oh, that's so stupid," I would say, "Oh, that's so silly," right? And that's a very practical linguistic way of talking nicer to yourself, because I'm like, I'm not stupid, but I do silly things sometimes, right? So you could practice mirror affirmations. You can look in the mirror and say, "I'm so proud of you. I love you. You're worthy of love." Or you can just say them throughout your day. Like, "I love myself. I'm hilarious. I'm beautiful. I'm talented. I'm a really good friend. Man, I busted my ass at work today. Like, high five to me, And also try to flip negative self-talk. Instead of saying, oh, I'm so bad at this, you could say, oh, you know what? I'm learning. I've never done this before. And this is something that hits home for me because I'm level 5,000 overachiever, perfectionist, and I would get so mad at myself for not knowing how to do something that I've never done before. And it wasn't until my best friend pointed it out. I was frustrated one day with like a tech thing, and she was like, have you ever used this thing before? And I'm like, well, no. And she was like, okay, then like, how do you expect yourself to like know how to use this technology? You've never used it before. And so it just kind of like was a mirror that I needed to see of like, oh yeah, give myself grace, geez Louise, you know? You could also try writing a letter to yourself. Now, I'm a big proponent of writing, and I think that anytime you write your thoughts, your feelings down, it's just a better, concrete, objective way of seeing what's kind of noodling on in there, right? Because sometimes we just have all these thoughts spinning around and we don't even really know like how we feel about ourselves or what we think about things until we put it down on paper, and then we come back and read it later and you're like, wow, that's where my mind was at that day. That's how I was feeling that day. Wow, like, man, I'm really hard on myself. Or man, like, I really needed some love. I really needed some compassion that day. So I encourage you to maybe write a loving letter to yourself and just tuck it away anytime you need encouragement. Also, a huge way to build your relationship with yourself is to honor your needs. And as women, we struggle with this, ladies. Learning to say no to things that drain you. I know from experience, and I'm sure you do too, that we say yes to things that we really don't want to say yes to. We go to that thing even though we don't feel like it. We say yes to doing this favor even though we don't have time or bandwidth or whatever, but we just do the thing because we feel obligated. We have people-pleasing tendencies. We just want to be nice. We do want to be helpful. We do want to be supportive. We do want to be loving, but like we're forgetting that like we're tapped out. Basic stuff, girls. Prioritizing your sleep. Eat nourishing food. Move your body, whatever feels good. And not as like a punishment, as a form of self-care. Like, oh man, I really need to stretch. I'm just gonna do some stretching and it feels so good. Or man, I really need to get outside because I've been stuck in this office all damn day. So I'm gonna go get some sunshine on my face, right? Like moving your body in a way that feels replenishing and not like a punishment. Like you could also treat yourself to something that brings you joy. When was the last time you just bought yourself a little treat? Or you had an extra cup of delicious coffee, or you had a little cookie, or you bought yourself a little bracelet, or just whatever. Like, treat yourself. I'll tell you what, before I left Orlando, I was bound and determined to find a pink sprinkle donut. Okay, I had been craving this for months, and my favorite little coffee shop, God, I miss it so much in Orlando. On the last day, I decided to do like a little goodbye date with myself. And wouldn't you know it, I manifested my pink sprinkle donut, and it was delicious. It was divine. And it was just something lovely that I did for myself as like a going away hurrah for myself. And you deserve to do those little things for yourself too. All of those acts of kindness that you do for others on a regular basis, flip that around on yourself sometimes. Do yourself a little act of kindness, whatever that looks like for you. Also, don't be afraid to express yourself and your creativity. Get out those crafting supplies or dance around in your living room or try something new. Sing. I used to go cruising in my car. I mean, I still go cruising in my car. Not right now because it's blizzarding, but go cruising in your car and sing at the top of your lungs. Like, just bring out your inner child. Play with bubbles. I told you I like to color, literally with like crayons in a coloring book. Just do something that expresses your creativity, and that, I promise you, will nourish your soul. And that's just a way of spending time with yourself. So I want to know, what is one way that you take care of yourself? Or what is one way that you want to try? One thing that you want to experiment with to take care of yourself? Leave a comment so that we have a running list of ideas for all the ladies in this community to check out. All right, so to the heart of this video, Valentine's Day. I wanted to get kind of the self-love thing out of the way because I think it's really important to build a foundation of self-love, especially because it is one of the roots of deeply rooted confidence. And I talk more about that in my video of how to build real confidence. I'll link it somewhere here. But we're going to talk about how to celebrate Valentine's Day as a single person. But first, if you've made it this far in the video and you're new around here, this is Truthatude TV. I'm Lindsey Servin, and welcome to our beautiful little community. We are supportive women that we talk about all things confidence, how to build confidence, how to maintain your self-esteem in different areas of your life. And this little community of ours has grown to be such a supportive network of sisters. If you want to be a part of this community, subscribe to the channel. You know how YouTube works. And if you are already part of this community, welcome back. Thank you for being a part of our little tribe. I love you sincerely. I really appreciate you supporting me and this channel. So let's dive right back into how to celebrate Valentine's alone. So I've been single for a hot minute. It's no secret, right? And Valentine's Day can be a very loaded holiday, right? It's just in your face all the time. Couples here, romance there, and I love it. I'm here for it. Valentine's Day is one of my favorite holidays, but it can be a little much if you're single and you're not feeling great about being single. And so I wanted to offer some ways that you could enjoy Valentine's Day and offer a shift in perspective. So I know that Valentine's Day is typically about romantic love, but I have used Valentine's Day as another excuse to just celebrate all the loves in my life, my friends, my chosen family, my little pupperton, myself, just sending little notes and texts to people like, hey, happy Valentine's Day, I love you, boo, you know, reaching out to people that are in your circle, whether they're your romantic interest or not, just to express love. And that is kind of what I've chosen Valentine's Day to be for me. I know that girls really love the Galentine's thing, and I think that's amazing. But also, like, all of your friends, your family, just the people that you love. Love is infinite. It has a lot of different facets. It's not just romantic. And so you can use Valentine's Day to just celebrate the concept of love itself. So I just encourage you to think of Valentine's Day in a way that expands your concept and your definition of love. One of those ways that you can do that is something we've already mentioned with self-love, is to plan a self-love date. Take yourself out for Valentine's Day. I know that this can be a little intimidating for some people who are not used to going out by themselves. So if that's not your bag, that's okay, but I encourage you to check out my video that I did on going on solo dates, because it is a wonderful way to build a relationship with yourself. Now, I know that Valentine's Day is crazy with like the restaurants and all the like inflated pricing and all that stuff, but you can keep it simple. You can just plan a loving little evening at home with yourself, your favorite rom-com movies, maybe order in some Chinese, like do you, boo. Just find a way to romanticize your own company or plan a little Valentine's Day get together. That is like super fun. Like I remember one year for Valentine's Day, I did a similar thing with my birthday, but we did a like build your own ice cream sundae bar, and we had everybody bring their own toppings. And it was kind of fun to see the toppings that people would bring. Like, what are you putting on your ice cream sundae? Like seriously, somebody brought Red Hots, and I'm like, that's fine, but like that's a solo thing. Another fun thing that you can do on Valentine's Day, and it kind of is like a throwback to when you're like in elementary school and you had to like buy a Valentine's Day card for everybody in your class, right? Remember that? And you had to create the little box out of a shoebox and like decorate it, and people would put it in your... Anyways, I digress. I used to do this. I would send little Valentine's Day, cheeky little, like the kids ones, to my friends, and they freaking loved it because it does bring back that nostalgic feeling of like getting a little Valentine's card when you're in like third grade. And so I did that one year and people loved it. Now you can expand that and you can just write love letters to people that you care about. You can send little cards, you know, to your family or to your friend. And these messages don't even have to be like romantic or lovey-dovey. They can just be appreciation, or just sending messages to people that you haven't talked to in a while to say, hey, I was thinking about you. Any big plans for Valentine's Day? How you doing? Just wanted to send some love your way. Like, it doesn't have to be that deep, right? You can also give yourself a gift. I buy myself a weekly bouquet of flowers. Like, that's just something I do for me because I love to have fresh flowers in my space, but also it's like a little gift to me. buy yourself a new perfume or anything that just makes you feel loved, feel luxurious. Now, I'm not advocating that you go out and blow a bunch of money. Do what's within your means, but something that's going to enhance your day, enhance your life. Maybe it's like a new skincare product, or maybe you try out a new makeup or a new lippy. Like, do you, but just give yourself some tiny little gift that could be like your Valentine's Day gift. That kind of leads me into the last point that I want to talk about, and that is romanticizing your life. Now, I know that there's a lot of buzz on the internet about romanticize this and romanticize that, but there is some weight to that. Why not make every part of your life juicy? Why not romanticize all the mundane parts of your life? If you're going for a walk, why not have some cute music in your ear? If you're making dinner, why not kind of church up the presentation a little bit and make it look pretty? Like, there's simple things that you can do to romanticize your life and to bring more romance into your life, even if you're single. So make your daily routines a little fancy, make them feel luxurious. Use the fancy china if you have it. Play soft music like jazz or bossa nova when you're cooking dinner or when you're working. Something I do, I work from home, I put on perfume every day. I'm literally by myself all the time, but I like to smell nice for me. And no, I don't have cheap perfume. Like, I use the expensive perfume because that's what makes me feel beautiful, makes me feel luxurious, and I deserve to smell nice for me. Right? So that's something that you can do for yourself to romanticize your life. I also get ready for my day. That, for me, doing my glam, even though nobody's going to see it, that's for me. That makes me feel beautiful. That's a way that I romanticize my life. I curl my hair, I put on lipstick, I wear perfume for me. You could also, kind of create a dreamy morning or evening ritual. I call it my clothes and co's. I even have a clothes and co's playlist where I close down the house for the night and I get cozy. I set the vibe. I light a candle. I put my little low lights on. I have my little playlist playing, and then I do my skincare and I take my time. And like, that's just a way of creating a romantic routine for my evening. And you can do that too. Just turning ordinary moments into magical experiences, right? So instead of walking your dog right after work, wait a little bit until the sunset's happening and go walk your dog on a sunset stroll, right? Like, it's just little ways of introducing a little bit more magic, a little bit more romance into your own life, because you deserve it. And this is all forms of self-love. I highly encourage you to, in addition to romanticizing your life and creating these beautiful, lush routines for yourself, to celebrate yourself regularly. Now, this is not something that I'm always good at. I have to be reminded sometimes, and that is to just celebrate little wins. I call them micro victories throughout your day, or have a self-care Sunday or a Sunday reset routine that makes you feel rejuvenated for the rest of the week. I have a non-negotiable self-care appointment on my calendar every week, and I just do what I need to do in that moment. Sometimes it's like maintenance, like mani-pedi situation. Sometimes it's coloring. Sometimes it's calling somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, but something that's just going to be nourishing for me. And also, I do literally have reminders in my shut it down ritual for the end of a workday to write down my small wins for the day. And that's something that I've trained myself to do, so that as I'm working towards the goals, I'm not just celebrating whether or not I achieve the big goal, but I also enjoy the process. I enjoy the journey, and I acknowledge the growth along the way. And that is another form of loving yourself. So I really want to know, how do you romanticize your own life? How do you insert a little bit of magic into the mundane parts of your life? I'd really love to know. Drop it in the comments below. So that brings us to the end of this video, but before you go, I just want to remind you that Valentine's Day is about love, and that includes the love that you give yourself. You are worthy of kindness. You are worthy of care and of feeling special, and you should feel that every single day. You don't need a holiday to, make that happen. You don't need a partner to make that happen, and you don't need anybody else's permission to celebrate you. So buy yourself flowers, pour yourself a lovely glass of wine or sparkling water, and soak in the beauty of your own presence. You are beautiful, you are talented, you are smart, you are loved, you are an amazing soul and such a gift to this world. And I hope that you remember that. If no one has told you today, I love you, and I hope that you have an amazing Valentine's Day. I hope that you find magical moments to love on yourself a little bit more each day. And I just want to say I'm so thankful to have you in this community. So that's it for today. Happy Valentine's Day. And before you go, one last thing. If you are craving a deeper connection or a sense of community with like-minded women who want to continue to build their confidence and build connection and are on that same journey of self-love, then I'd love for you to drop your email in the waitlist below for the upcoming membership that's launching this year. I am creating a space where you can make new friends, grow your confidence, and even work with me one-on-one. So you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to be on this journey by yourself. And I really encourage you to join this community so that we can build something beautiful together. So thank you again for watching. And as always, stay true to the Truthatude. Ciao. How do you do it? How do the kids do it these days? I feel like I'm throwing up gang signs. Wait, how does it go?